Today's session from ICI World is on adding a have to the service. You will notice that ICI World has many various websites, and you'll see one here from iciworld.us, iciworld.ca. In fact, ICI World actually has over 18,000 pages throughout the internet, penetrating the furthest reaches of the internet. And when you add your information to this one specific website, which is iciworld.net, such as you see here, your information will instantly and automatically appear on over 18,000 other places throughout the world. Plus, your information will be emailed out to the industry by email, and that's where people can actually subscribe to receive haves and wants by email, absolutely free. In fact, there's over 10,000 emails that are going out daily. There are three items that members will use almost 99% of the time, and it's these three items right here: Search Database 1 free, Search Database 2 FSBOs, and Member Management. We're going to go to Member Management. On the left-hand side are all the choices that members make to manage their information. When you manage your information here, it manages it throughout the world. So this is the one site that you should become very familiar with. That's not to say that you shouldn't go and visit your country's website. You should. You should become very familiar with your own country website, iciworld.ca for Canadians and iciworld.us for the United States. And then there's other countries coming online as well. On the left-hand side, simply click on Login when you're ready and fill in your login name and password. If you ever forget your login name and password, you will notice on the left-hand side there is a Login Help button. When you click on Login Help, you can type in your last name, and then you can actually search for your member ID and have your information sent to you by email. It'll actually get sent to you within 3 minutes. We're now going to click on Login. You also have a choice here that you can choose to expire your password on your computer either at the end of the session, in 1 hour, 1 day, a month, or a year. If you're using your own computer from home, you can choose a year, and then that way you don't ever have to log into the computer every single time you come on to use it. However, if you're using an office computer and you don't want other people to use your login information, choose end of session, and the moment you close your browser, that's this little X way up here, and when you close it there, then your password will no longer be available to other people. You click on Remember Login ID and click on Login to Site, and a welcome page should come up to help you. Again, if you need help, you click on Login Help right there. And because we're going to be adding listings today, this is where we're going to be going in a minute, I want you to see, first of all, the latest world listings coming online. And there's literally 50 to 100 listings a day that are coming online here. If we were to go down, you'll see them all. These listings are available to the public. In one sense, we're very similar to classified ads in a newspaper. We are not a real estate board listing service. It's more like classified ads in a newspaper. And you won't normally see addresses in these ads because the public can end up going direct on you. But sometimes you do. In this one, you can. Usually, you want to keep your address hidden from the public because they can end up going direct on you. If I was to hit the back button once, and actually I'm going to click on Add Have Want now on the left-hand side. And you'll see a subject line. Pop your cursor in the subject line, and then please, everyone, read this subject line help in gray here that says, please remember the 4 ingredients to be included in the subject line. The first one being location, then type, price and or size, and sizzle, and generally in the same order. For wants, you must type the word wanted at the beginning of the subject line, maximum 160 characters. And the reason for this is because a lot of this information is sent to people's Blackberries in many, many different ways, and it's nice to highlight exactly what it is that you have to gather interest. They say that we have less than 4 seconds to kind of trigger interest in people, so this subject line is very, very important to capture interest. Keep in mind, there's over 60,000 people a month that are viewing this website, over 10,000 emails going out a day, and what you say in the subject line is important in order to attract attention. And if we were to make an example of what it is that we're doing, and we were to say we had a plaza in Oshawa, you simply type in Oshawa. However, because there's over 1 billion people in the world today, not everyone knows where Oshawa is. So we always suggest that you reference it to a major world type city that maybe people have heard of. In this case, 1 hour to Toronto might be appropriate. If you happen to be in a small town outside of Miami, you can do the same thing there. You can just say 1 hour to Miami or 1 hour to Los Angeles, depending on wherever your town is. And then you go about and proceed the type of property. In this case, it's a shopping center that we're using. And then I'm going to do something by putting the word test in the middle at the beginning of the subject line, because we're actually putting a listing on the service. And this is not a true listing, but a sample listing. And we don't want people to think that we actually have a listing that is for sale. So you type in the type of property that you have. If it's a business, you type in the type of business that you have. The third item is the price and or the size. Again, we're going to put in the price, and you can spell it all out in full, but that's just one little format that we're using to save space in the subject line. You will also notice, if you look at the subject line, there's a little counter here that's keeping track of your characters, and you do have a limit that's mentioned over here of 160. The last item that we need in this particular case happens to be the word sizzle. And sizzle for a property for sale simply means what is so good about this particular property in the marketplace over any other property in the marketplace in the same price range. And it could be something as simple as 9% cap rate. It could be that 9% cap and some upside potential. And that upside potential could be maybe space to build some more plaza, or maybe they can put a second floor on. There's a lot of different things why it could be good. And you could also maybe say high traffic area. Now we're going to go down and select the business area. And you'll notice that there's 4 boxes here. And these are very important because this is what triggers your listing to go out by email. One absolute thing that you should do is only select the areas that your properties are located in. So in other words, this particular one happens to be in Canada, but if it happened to be in the USA, you'd simply click USA. If it happened to be in Florida, you would choose Southeast as a choice that you see here, and then you would go down and you would choose Florida. In this case, it's Canada, and we're going to choose Ontario, and we're going to choose Greater Toronto. And those are the 3 areas that you would choose. Each of those will receive their special email list services built for each of those areas, and people will receive emails from that because of that. And then we type in the city, and it is a have, so you'll leave it on that. If you did have a want, you'd simply choose one. In this case, it's a have, we're going to leave it. If your listing applies to more than one category, you can do so. In this case, we're going to go down the list, and you'll see that we're simply going to choose shopping centers, which is back here. And we're going to go down to the type description and repeat it again. You might say, why are we repeating it? Well, our information can be searched and sorted in so many different ways, and mixing and matching of information, it helps people find information easier. If you fill it all in, it's easier for people to find you. And then in the price field, you do have to spell it out in full with a proper numerical number. You cannot use any short forms here. In this particular case, we're simply going to go down and fill in the cap rate, which was 9%. And then instead of having to type information in the comments area, we're going to do a little copy and paste. I'm going to go back to the subject line. I'm going to go down to it. I'm going to highlight the whole subject line area, and I'm going to right-click my mouse while I'm highlighting all this blue area, and I'm going to click on copy. Then I'm going to go down to, I'm going to click here and go down to the comments area, which is a big box more than halfway down. Pop the cursor in there, right-click the mouse, and click on paste. Then if you wanted to, you can add more information, anything else that you'd like to say, and you could say one major anchor tenant. Something to that effect. Okay, let's move on a little bit further on down here, and we go to the internet links box. I have a saying that 90% of the brokers on the internet what they're doing are throwing properties on the internet with no due regard to the location. And when you think about it, the three most important words in real estate are being missed. A lot of people say location, location, location. So we're suggesting that you have information on the location of your property, and having it right in the ad can actually help draw people to your area. One of the problems brokers have is trying to get people to come to their area, not just the listing. The listing itself can be a very, very nice property. One way to do that is to click on Add Link here and provide a link to the local economic development office in your area, no matter where you are located, any place in the world. And we have a special way of doing that. Instead of you having to build a $10,000 website to provide information on the location of your property, you can simply link to an economic development website that's already built to help sell the location of your property, and you can do it absolutely free. In this case, we happen to have a sample link here to the City of Toronto, which, because this property is about a half an hour to an hour away from the property, we can leave it in there. But instead of just saying all about Toronto, we might just say 1 hour to Toronto and leave the link to Toronto in there, because it could favorably influence someone to be interested in this property. You click on that link and the link goes in here. You don't have to know that this is an HTML program, but you can tell your kids that you've just done some HTML programming today, and I'm sure that will raise their eyebrows. But that's what the language of English on the internet is, and how to get things to appear in a proper fashion. But what we really want to do is link to the town of Oshawa. Again, we're going to click on Add Link again. This time we're going to remove the link to the City of Toronto that's in there. Delete that. And you'll notice that we provide a link to the largest collection of municipal government related information on the web. And we're going to click on that. Up comes a screen and we're going to go down a little bit here, and you'll see that you can now choose to find municipalities throughout the world. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down and we're going to actually search for one in the US, and thinking that if this property happened to have been in, let's say, Orlando, Florida, what we're going to do is click on Go, United States of America, and you'll see all of the states come up. So in other words, we do have economic development offices no matter where in the world you're located. And that's why these services that we have here on ICI World apply no matter where in the world you are located. Now we're going to go over here to Florida, and if we were interested in Cape Coral or Cocoa Beach or Key West, doesn't matter where you are. In this particular case, I'm going to go back up and we're going to look for Orlando, Florida. And Orlando happens to be right here. In this case, I do not want you to click on it. What you do is simply right click on your mouse button, and you'll see another little button come up called Copy Shortcut. You would click on that. And then what you would do is simply close this page, and you can actually pop that link by clicking on the spot where you want it to go, and then right click your mouse and click on Paste. In this case, the third line here are the words that people will see in order to go to that link. So instead of saying all about Toronto, if it was in Florida, you would say all about Orlando. In this case, I'll do it one more time. Largest collection of municipal government related information on the web. Go down a little bit here, click on Go Canada, and in this case we're going to be looking in Ontario, and we're going to go down and we're going to try to find Oshawa. In this case, we found Oshawa. Right click the mouse, click on Copy Shortcut. We can go up here and close this page, come down here, remove that link, and then we're going to right click the mouse and click on Paste, and the link for the City of Oshawa goes in there. In this case, we would change this link to all about Oshawa, and then click on Add Link. Now, depending on your creative juices and marketing expertise, you can link to visitors and convention bureaus, chambers of commerce, those kinds of things. In another session, we will be showing you how to add a link and how you can actually place a photo and make it appear in your ad. We will do that at another time. In another session, this is just to get you through one of the first listings to add. Yes, you can fill in all this owner-client information, but for the purposes of this session, we're just going to cover it, how to quickly add the have, and we will cover it in more detail at another time. the owner-client information. The control is the second line from the bottom. You'll see there, if it happens to be an MLS listing, you can click on it. If it happens to be an exclusive listing, you can click on it. On ICI World, out of 22,000 listings, about 3,000 of them are MLS or real estate board type listings. And in this particular case, we're going to be choosing exclusive. Will you allow your listings to be advertised on other brokers' websites? We always recommend yes, because it's greater exposure in the marketplace for your listings, and then you click on submit information. Particularly if your information happens to be an MLS listing, why not allow it to be advertised on other brokers' websites? Would you cooperate with another broker that brought you an offer on your property? Then you would answer yes. We usually wait about 4 or 5 seconds, click on the little OK that comes up. You will see the information, basically how members see it from a maintenance point of view. But I would like everyone to always click on latest world on the left-hand side to see how your information has gone in. And you can check it for spelling errors and anything that you want to change. If you click on that message number, you go into the message number and you can see how your information looks. Sometimes prices come out a little bit wrong, and this is a way that you can check your listing. And you will notice these 2 links showing up here. The 1 hour to Toronto, if I click on that, this becomes a very powerful selling point that if people ever have any doubt that this is one of the major market areas, a vibrant market economic hub of activity in North America, you can read about it right on the first page, and this helps provide confidence for people to buy properties in your area. If I was to hit I'm going to click my right mouse button and hit the back button and go down and click on the link all about Oshawa. And this is where you get into the quality of life into that particular area where people are thinking of moving to, and you'll see how they've got some nice beautiful things that are kind of going on in Oshawa. And then if you read about the area as well, you'll see that there's a business directory here which you could click on, and you can find out more information about local products and all kinds of different things that's kind of going on here. So it gives you can get it right into the demographics, the average family income, all kinds of things you can find out from these economic development websites. Now, if you want to change your listing and say there's a little mistake or you want to make a change, you click on My Listings on the left-hand side, and you'll see the listing come right up on top. If you wanted to make a change, you simply click on Modify, and bingo, up comes the listing, and then you can go ahead and make changes to it. You would simply go down to the bottom of the page and click on Modify again. Now, the very first listing that you send out is the one that actually gets sent out by email to the whole industry. If you modify a listing within 30 days, it does not get emailed out to the industry. So it's important to know that you should be modifying your listings after 30 days. In fact, if you click on My Listings on the left-hand side, you'll see that there's an actual age column. In our particular case, we're not doing listings. This is just a sample that we're doing for you. You're the ones that do the listings. We actually do not sell real estate on ICI World. We are more or less like an executive director of a real estate type information service showing you how to do it. But here's the age column. Anything over 30 days, renew it. Anything under 30 days, if you need to have it go through because you've had a material change in price of your listing, simply add a brand new listing, and then you can delete your old one. In this case, I'm going to delete this particular listing, and that's how that works. If you have a listing, however, that has been sold, we suggest that you click on Modify on the listing. You would actually go up to the status line, and you can actually click on Sold in the status line. You would go to the beginning of the subject line, and you would also type in the word sold in capital letters and in brackets, and then you could go right to the bottom of the screen and you would click on Modify. In this case, we're not going to. That completes our session for adding listings. There are ways that you can add photos to the listings. That's in another short seminar entitled How to Link to Photos and Other Things. It's one of the true powers of the internet is the title of that one, and we'll be covering that at another time. If you'd like one more thing that you should get excited about, I'm going to go to google.com. We're going to do a quick search for commercial real estate at google.com, and you'll see in a moment why I'm going to be doing this. And you'll see on the first page that comes up, if I was to go down just a tiny bit, you'll see that the Market ICI World Network comes in here. So no matter what location in the world you're located, it doesn't matter from San Diego to Florida, Vancouver to Montreal and beyond, and the Maritimes, if somebody searches commercial real estate in your area and they click on that link, bingo, what comes up is this result. They can click on Canada. If they're interested in Canada, they can click on the US, and then bingo, they can actually go down and find information very, very quickly. In this case, they can click on Ontario, and if they were interested in a shopping center, all they have to do is click on shopping centers, and you'll see that literally within just a few minutes, they have found your listing right away. So without further ado, we're going to call this session to an end and get excited about placing information on the service, and have a great day, and we're here to help you. 416-840-6227. Feel free to call us at any time.